88.1 XFM, Total Attack Music Station. Also, another sponsored episode of Mic Time with Marty. Jets Car Grooming, all the way from Tauranga. If you want your car spick and span, just go Jets Car Grooming. I have another magician who was on Peninsula Fool us to say hello to Maddie.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Martin.
Thank you for being here. So, for people that don't know who you are, who is Maddie?
I am a magician. How do you describe yourself? I'm just a guy who loves to share what I'm doing with people, and right now that's magic. But it is different things at different times. But I think life is just about connecting with other people and sharing experiences with them. So that's what I love to do.
Okay. So, one thing about you is that you do not have any hands or feet.
Yeah.
How has your life been impacted by that?
Um, I don't know. I mean, I guess it's a big difference than most people's lives. But when you don't really know the difference, because I've always been this way, it's very hard to, say what that impact has been. Well, I think when I was younger, I didn't realize it at all, and it didn't bother me. And then when I was a kid, you start hearing people say, "Oh, well, you can't do this because you don't have hands, and you can't do this way." So then you start to think, okay, well, there's all these things that I can't do, and for me, that all that negativity towards this condition led me towards magic because magicians are people who are supposed to be able to do anything, and I wanted to, I never wanted to feel like there were things that I couldn't do. I always wanted to be able to do everything and anything. So that's what led me to magic. But I mean I think that's what that's how it's impacted me. In a big way, and that's what's led me to be doing what I'm doing with my life right now.
Hmm. So, going on Penn and Teller Full Us, how big of a step was that?
It was uh, so performing anything takes a while. I think most magicians have a very different path than me. Most magicians learn magic and then they start performing some shows and doing stuff, and they're able to judge themselves against different magicians and what's around them. And for me, I didn't really have that. Like I had to, ever since I was starting in this, creating all my own techniques, all my own magic. So, and I was very shy, very nervous growing up. And I had this dream of being a magician and performing and doing all that stuff, but it did not come naturally. There was no easy path to do that. So I started showing, people some of the stuff that I was doing, and that led me to meeting different magicians. And you know, and then performing more and more. And when I did Penn and Teller, I have been performing magic at that point for more than 10 years, but I had never done like my own magic show. I was just used to going and performing magic at my school and at the pub and out and about for family and friends. I wasn't like a working professional magician. So when I got that opportunity, it was very life changing because all of a sudden you have all these opportunities that come up where people assume that you're a professional magician because you're on TV performing, and you're not, and they're offering you to do magic, and magic is your dream, so you have to work like super hard to do all this stuff that you wanted to do and you wanted to take your own time at doing, but then you have all these opportunities coming and you want to do your best and say yes because you don't know if you don't want to miss out on opportunities. So it's always a balancing act of going and doing, taking opportunities that present themselves to you, and also being prepared. So it was a great experience. It put me in a uncomfortable position because you go from being an unknown magician who's just doing magic tricks for your friends and family to being on TV in front of millions of people. And I can imagine that's what it's like for people on American Idol and shows like that, where all of a sudden people say, okay, well, let's oh, this person's really good, let's give them a concert. And you're like, but wait a second, I've never sung on stage. Like, hold on.
So how long did it take you to learn these techniques with the condition that you had?
A long time. When I started doing magic, and I loved so much of the magic. I saw magic from guys like David Copperfield, who does amazing stage illusions on big stages in Las Vegas. And then I also loved guys like David Blaine, who would do card magic on TV, and all this stuff attracted me, and I couldn't do any of it. I couldn't do the David Copperfield type of magic because it costs hundreds of thousands of dollars to do those illusions. And David Blaine was doing stuff with cards, and I'm like, I can't do that. I don't have any hands. So it took me a while of learning a lot about magic and discovering mind readers who do stuff with the mind. And a lot of the guys who I really looked up to used things that I could do, things with my mouth and with my mind and with my memory. So I got into hypnosis and mind reading, and I was really just trying to do magic that I could do. And then as I got older, then I got more into the sleight of hand stuff that you see me, do now.
Okay. Well, Mahdi, here is the first game of the agenda. How well are you about thinking on your feet?
Oh man, I'm slow as a turtle.
All right. Well, I'm going to ask you some normal quick-fire questions, and you just got to answer them as quickly as you possibly can.
Okay.
Okay. So, Coke or Sprite?
Coke.
Summer or winter?
Summer.
How do you have your coffee?
With cream and sugar.
Okay. Sunset or sunrise?
Sunrise.
Okay. Who's the most famous person you've met?
The most famous person I ever met, I guess Donald Trump. That's the most famous.
Oh, great. If you can meet one celebrity, who would it be?
If I could meet one celebrity, dead or alive?
Either one.
I would love to meet Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson. Okay. Favorite genre of music?
Rock.
Okay. Favorite genre of movies or TV shows?
Drama, but just for casual watching, I like horror because I don't have to think about it, and it's just it's fun.
Right. What's your favorite style of magic?
Magic, just beautiful magic. I don't know. There's no style for me.
Okay. And final one, which happens to be the most difficult one. Where would you see yourself in 5 years?
Where?
Yeah.
Hopefully on tour.
Hey, sweet. Well, Mahdi, here's your chance for redemption. You can now ask me some quick fire questions. You can be as difficult as you want.
Sure. How's life in New Zealand?
Cold.
Um, have you ever been to America?
No, but I want to.
Do you like where technology is going?
Yes, very much so. Hopefully, in the next couple of years, we should be having holograms and stuff like that. So, fingers crossed.
What do you think about magic?
Love it.
You love it. Okay, got it. Awesome.
Couple of more.
Um, do you like Harry Potter?
Yes.
I'm reading them right now. What's your favorite movie series?
Favorite movie series? I wouldn't really call it a series. Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, or
Okay.
Hobbit.
The Hobbit,
The Hobbit.
the Peter Jackson ones.
Mm-hmm.
Those are your favorite. I gotta rewatch them. I watched them in the theater, but um, I gotta rewatch them. I'm gonna be going on a Lord of the Rings binge soon.
All right, two more.
Oh gosh. Do you play any card games?
I do.
What do you play?
Poker, blackjack, last card, goldfish.
Do you play any other card games that don't use traditional playing cards?
Uno. Uh, what's that? Monopoly, but it kind of doesn't really use cards. But yeah,
Okay. And what's your star sign?
Sagittarius.
Okay. Interesting.
Very interesting. All right. So, when it came to doing Peninsula Fool last, how well known did you become afterwards?
Um, a lot of people just knew me overnight. Um, it's hard to judge. I don't know, to be quite honest, but I would get stopped in the street, and people would say, "Oh, hey, we saw you on TV. Oh, and give me compliments in the street and stuff." And that happens to this day. People recognize me on the street, which is always fun. But you know what? It's fun. Yeah, I think some people like to complain about it, but I've never had a bad situation, come from it yet. Hopefully, there's nothing. But yeah, it was pretty instantaneous. There's a lot of viewers on there, and it just showed me like the power of the media. People who you would never think are interested in magic come up to you and they're like, "Oh, I watched the show." It's like, "Whoa, you watched the show?" "Yeah, I watched." I watched Penn and Teller. Okay, cool.
So what does it mean by who makes the desert rain?
So I'm writing a book. So in magic, I always took the advice of Ascanio, which is when he said that when he performed as himself, but it was a more idealistic version of himself. So he was more charming, more funny, more confident, more, all these qualities that uh, he had in his life were just uh, really punctuated in the show. And so that's what I was doing for a while. And then I really, I had never read Harry Potter,
Mhm.
and but I knew the movies and I knew how popular it was, and so I started watching the movies and reading the books and seeing like, oh wow, so many people read this, so many people love this, and it's probably the way that people interacted with magic the most in the last maybe even forever. Like people know magic through Harry Potter, so it started to get me thinking about stories and creating something that is outside of the performance of magic that people could interact with and experience magic. So I started coming up with these stories, and I'm writing them now, which is just magical adventures. And so the book that I'm writing is called Maddie, Who Makes the Desert Rain, and it's a fantasy novel starring me, and there's real magic in it. So it's it's going to be very interesting, I think, to see what comes of it. But I just wanted to create something that was more than just my magic show, and something that people could interact with, and then also, make certain pieces of magic more impactful because people have a background
Mm.
of it because they know everything. You know, you look at Harry Potter, and I think it's a real tragedy that there's never been like a real Harry Potter magic show because the people who read the books and watch the movies, they know all the spells. You know, he grabs his wand and he says, Wingardium Leviosa, and then something flies, and like you have all these things that people are familiar with, they know by heart. Imagine being able to create that for somebody and then use those stuff in a magic effect where you you are doing a lot of the in magic we do most of the exposition on stage.
Mm.
We're explaining the plot. Oh, I have this and this is going to happen, or I do this, or I put this in this box here. Imagine if we already did a lot of that exposition before the magic routine,
Mm.
and so you could just say a word or show an object and people know exactly what that is because they're familiar with it, you know from the story. And it got me thinking a lot about Marvel and the different stuff that they do with their franchises where they have these big movies that are accessible to everybody. So maybe you don't read the comic books, but you go see the movie and the movie makes sense. But then if you read all the graphic novels and everything, you have so much more background. So I started to think about magic that way. How can I create my magic shows so that everybody can follow them, but then also have a lot deeper stuff for the people who interact with the other mediums.
Mhm. So, you said earlier that you met a former president. What was it like meeting Donald Trump?
It was fine. Everything was normal. Nothing crazy. I think everybody always expects, something crazy to happen. But yeah, and Donald Trump has, worked with a lot of magicians in the past. Donald Trump was a sponsor of David Blaine's stunts, his Buried Alive stunt, and his stunt on the pillar, and also the stunt where I believe David Blaine is hanging upside down. Um, and so, Donald Trump is just a New York icon. And before he was the president, you know, he was always doing tons of different events related to the city and stuff like that.
Hmm. Okay. Well, here is another little segment I have in my show. Have you seen a show called Hot Ones?
Yeah, yeah, with the hot wings. Yeah.
Yes. So we don't have hot wings here. Thank
Oh man.
God. Actually, when I did my interview with AJ, we kind of did it normally. I had Tabasco and we ended up doing that stuff, but not again. So I'm going to dabble into your Instagram and you just have to explain that gram. Are you ready?
Okay. Okay. Oh gosh.
We
When did I post on Instagram? Now I'm worried.
Oh no, I interviewed a guy and he was like, "Oh, thank God you're doing my Instagram and not my Twitter." So I had to look at his Twitter. Love it. All right.
Oh, so this was a silhouette cut for me as a Magic Castle. Oh man, I'm forgetting the guy's name, which is horrible. But there's a great silhouette artist. Why am I forgetting his name? He's there all the time. Anyways, very amazing guy, and he cut that silhouette for me. He does it for people at the Magic Castle. Di Vernon was also very big on cutting silhouettes, and it's sort of a tradition now in Magic. And so he cut that for me, and I used it as a poster. So one of my first posters, I just used it. Chung Ling Soo has a very similar poster where it's a silhouette of him. Just as I'm always a fan of old, classic Magic stuff. So I try to pay homages to it.
Oh, Yeah, you there?
Yeah, I'm there. Can you hear me?
Yeah. No, we're good. We're good. All right, next one.
That was a show in China, and that show that's actually a funny story. So, without getting too much into it, the director of the show had a script for me, and I'm like, I don't like that. I liked writing my own script and doing my own magic. So the director, who's a good friend of mine, gave me the script and he told me to memorize it. I told him like I don't really work like that. Like, come on, man, I design my own magic. I'm gonna do my own script, and we can work on it together because like I'm open to collaboration and stuff. So it was really funny. So, anyways, he told me, okay, fine, just do your script. We don't have time to change everything. And so I did my own script, and the guy on stage with me is a magician daily, and he's really funny because what he did is he was supposed to be translating for me, um, and what he did is instead of translating my script, he just waited for me to talk, and then he would translate the original script over my voice instead of translating me, and I didn't know about it during the show. And then my friend told me, and I was like, what the heck? And anyways, we kind of had, a little bit of conflict, but it was all right. We came to a peaceful resolution. But yeah.
Okay, that's good. All right, next one.
Oh man, I think I'm 17 years old or maybe 16. I'm not too sure. And that was the first uh, big magic show that I ever saw. Probably the first magic show I saw in a theater. David Copperfield, and I heard you could meet him by waiting after the show, and so I was so nervous. Like I came up with like this crappy card trick, and and then I was too nervous to perform it for him. I didn't even tell him I was a magician. But anyways, I got to get my photo with him, and he was just a really nice guy. And in the photo, I asked him, like, in his old promo photos from the 70s, he used to do this thing where he would look at the camera and raise an eyebrow. Like, he would, like, do that. And so I asked him to do that, and he thought it was really funny. And so we did that, and we took some other photos, and yeah.
Awesome. All right, last one. This is you at BBC Radio London.
Yeah, that's in London. That's a Robert Elm show, and I was so sick on that tour. I was so sick, and I could barely talk. I had to do this radio show because we were promoting, the live show, and it was a lot of fun. We did magic over the radio, which was ton of fun, and people who came to the live show told me like, wow, I never come to a magic show, but I was listening to this radio show, which I always listen to, and they told me grab a deck of cards, and so I did it, and then when the trick worked, I was so amazed, I fell off my seat, and I was like, oh man, and he came to the magic show and he loved it, so it was just really, it was fun. Um, I don't know, it's just such a fun life.
All right. Well, Maddie, do you mind showing us a magic trick? I actually have a deck of cards with me if you want to.
You have a deck of cards. Let's do it. Here, bring your camera down. We'll do a trick for you
All right.
in your hands. So this is one of the first tricks that I learned, and this is actually one of the tricks that I did over the radio. So take your deck of cards and put it face up, and I want you to take out any 5 red cards and any 5 black cards that you want. Just put 5 red cards and 5 black cards into 2 separate piles. So 5 red and 5 black.
Are you able to see it or?
Yeah, I can see everything. It's perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, just any ones. Just any ones. You can just deal them out.
Oh, okay.
And it doesn't matter what they are. Just once you're done separating them, just make sure that you have 5 red and 5 black. So just count through them one time just to make sure you have 5 red and 5 black. And what you're going to do is you're going to, oh, you have 6. What you're going to do is you're going to mix them face up one by one. You can start with either a red or a black, but whichever one you want. So you put a red and then put a black card on top of it, and then a red and then a black and a red and a black and a red and a black until all the cards are mixed one by one. Is that fair?
Yes.
Now square up the cards and turn them over on the table so that they're face down. And what you're going to do now is you're going to do what we call cut and complete the cut. And for those people who are at home and don't know, that means you'll lift off about half of the pile from the top, move it to the side, yeah, and then drop it down, and then you'll pick up what was the bottom half and put it on the other half. Exactly. That's called cutting and completing the cut. So now that that's mixed to a random place, you're going to spread the cards on the table. Spread the cards on the table just a little bit, not so, yeah, just a little bit, just so that you can see the tops of some of the cards. Perfect. That's enough. Now grab the top 2 cards, together, exactly, and flip them over and put them back on top of the pile. Flip them, yeah, face up, exactly like that, on top of the pile, and square them up so that those the face-up cards are on top of the pile. Perfect. And now cut and complete the cut. Loose those in the middle, anywhere you want. And now spread and do the same thing. Grab the top 2 cards together, turn them over together, yeah, and put them back on top, and then square and cut and complete the cut. And if you want, you can do this one more time. It doesn't matter. We can do this as many or as few times as you like. We can do it another time if you want. The same thing, it doesn't matter if the cards are face up, face down. Grab the top 2 cards together, flip them over together, and put them back on top. And then square and cut and complete the cut. Now, do you prefer odd or even?
Let's go even.
Even. So in even, we have a choice. We've always been doing 2, but we can do 4, 6, 8. What do you prefer?
Let's go 4.
4. So the very same thing. Spread the cards so that you can see the top 4 cards of the pile. Now grab the top 4 cards together. Yeah, just like that. Turn them over so that they're face up, and then drop them on top of the pile, square, yeah, and cut and complete the cut. So now we have cards that are face up, cards that are face down. Here's what you're going to do. Pick up the whole pile and flip the whole pile over in your hand. And now there's cards face up, there's cards face down. I want you to take the top card. It doesn't matter if the card is face up or face down. Deal the top card down to your left, and then the next card to your right, and then to the left and to the right, and keep going back and forth until you have no cards left in your hand. Is that fair?
Mm-hmm.
Pick one of the piles. Which one do you want to pick? Pick it up. Perfect. Flip it over and drop it on top of the other pile. And now there's cards face up, face down, doesn't matter. Cut anywhere you want and complete the cut. Now we can do this a few ways, but we'll try it with this. Think of a color, either red or black.
Do I tell you? Or?
Yeah, you can tell me.
Okay, black.
Black. Here's what we're going to do. The cards were just mixed. Red, black, red, black, red, black. They were flipped over, face up, face down, face up, face down, every single which way. Every single time you cut wherever you wanted, you turn over a few cards, then you chose random numbers, you turn over cards. The cards should all be mixed in a complete mess. But because you said black, here's what we're going to do. We're going to separate the cards. Now, every single one of the black cards is separated from every single one of the red cards. And you'll see as you spread the deck, every single one of the black cards is now face up. Spread the cards, check. Every single one of the black cards is face up, and every single one of the red cards is face down. Every single one.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah, thank you. So that's a genre of magic that people have been doing for a while, and it's called radio magic, and it was popularized by a few magicians, but one of the most known is Juan Tamariz, and he wrote a book called Verbal Magic, which magicians love. It's all magic that you can do in people's hands over the radio. It's really fun to do, and you don't really have a use for it regularly because if you're in front of somebody in real life, you just do magic for them. But he used to do a lot of radio shows to promote his live shows, and so he used to do different magic tricks like this every single week. And I started learning some of them because I would get invited to do interviews like at radio stations and stuff. And so I would always try to practice and do one of these tricks over the radio. And then with Zoom, we started doing more magic. I didn't want to just show people magic, so I came up with a show called Magic in Your Hands, where part of the show was people watching me do magic with my camera, but then part of it was the magic was happening in their hands in their homes with their cards and with other objects that they have.
All right, so I just want to show everyone. Actually, all the black cards are flipped. Same with the red ones. That is insane. I love that kind of stuff. Okay.
I love it too. I love it so much. When I first read, I won't tell you where I learned that trick, but when I first read it, I was alone in my room. I had my deck of cards, and it's presented as if the person's guiding you through the trick. So you're like, okay, I'm just doing this, doing this. And when the trick worked for me, I was completely blown away. I was alone in my room, and I was like, what the heck? Yeah, I was just blown away. So I knew that this stuff was really cool, and I love doing it.
All right, so how long did it take you to come up with a trick like that, even a show?
Oh man, so I'm a big fan of taking notes. I keep, I use a Google Keep, which is like a little note app, and I have tons of different notebooks that I have laying around, and I constantly just try to take notes, of just ideas. Because if you don't take a note, you'll forget. So I just write a note anytime I have an idea or a presentation or, just a little piece of something. Maybe it's even a line, like a sentence that, would be funny or would be charming. I'll take a note of it, even if I don't know what to do with it. And then I just let stuff build up and build up. So now that we're, hopefully coming out of the pandemic and there's going to be more shows and stuff, I'm putting together a new show, and it's so fun for me to look through my old notes. And even if I didn't have different methods and stuff back then when I took those notes, now maybe I have a method or I have an idea that completes this piece. And so it's just a slow process. Honestly, in the beginning, it was more technical for me. It was more technically intensive because you're looking at technical solutions to your magic problems. You're looking at ways to, do the trick. But as you get older in magic and you learn more of the secrets in magic and you're used to working with more of the secrets, it just comes easier to you, and then you can focus more on, what you actually want the trick to be. And for me, a lot of it is what I don't want it to be. I'm often looking at stuff, and if I like, there's a lot of magic that I get rid of. I'll try something, and I'm like, oh, you know what, this isn't good enough. It's just not good enough. That's the truth. And so I'll stop performing certain pieces or stop using different techniques, and it's just a constant grind to refinement, and also just being inspired by different people's work ethic. When I see somebody who works hard and stuff, it really inspires me because it's like, oh man, I don't want to just do this and oh, I came up with this idea and I practiced it a few times and I think it works. Let's try it out. It's like, no, I want it to be I want it to be really good. Let me really work on this. Let me rehearse it. Let me, script everything. And so I don't know, it takes a long time. And to be honest, nothing is ever finished. You come up with a version that you can perform, and you try it out, you make it work, and then honestly, everything else just takes a very long time. Sometimes you decide after a few months or a few years, you know what, I can't do this. I've outgrown this piece of magic, or it's just not working for me. So you get rid of it, and other stuff just constantly evolves, and also like the techniques you use and stuff. I'm a guy who I'm not a purist, but I think black art should really should not be overused.
Mm-hmm.
Like you see some of these performances on TV and stuff where it's like the method is black art, like like the method is black art, like, and it can become easy. It can very easily become obscene
Mm-hmm.
because it's just too much. Honestly, it's too much. And then and then um and then people do stuff which I think really dilutes the magic, because the magic becomes so obscene, it becomes so unbelievable that people think it's fake, so that they do stuff like bring spectators close to them, and the spectators see everything that's going on because they're using black art on the table, and the spectator can see that, or their lap is full of stuff and the spectator can see that. And so they're constantly trying to balance the obscenity of the visualness of their magic with proofs of, like, oh, it's all fair, look, this person's sitting right beside me, and it just becomes obscene. So for me, um, I'm I'm thinking about new things that I never thought about before, and how to balance making stuff really impossible, and but doing that in a way where you don't compromise, uh, your spectators.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I'll give you an example. I'll give you a very easy example. Everyone can understand this. So there was I'm not going to name the magician, but if somebody will be able to figure this out from what I'm saying. So there was a magician who came out to do a TV show, and he had the host of the TV show sitting right beside him, right? And and then, like, he's he's talking and doing all these things, and then, like, his sleeves are rolled up, there's nothing, and then, like, he reaches behind the host and pulls out, like, he does this production behind the host where he's pulling something out, right? And you're like, okay, obviously the host is in on it, and, like, the host isn't surprised. Like, the host is acting surprised, but the host isn't surprised because obviously they noticed this huge thing behind them. And so you get into, like, this level of obscene magic. so, so I don't know. It's always a balancing act. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay, so you have an upcoming course called Magic Ways. Can you talk about it a little bit more?
Yeah. So so what I was doing before the pandemic is I would be hired to go to schools and do these events for companies, where it was these really intensive inspirational events, and I had a lot of fun doing it. It was very emotional. It was very intensive, and it's just exhausting. But people would come out of it feeling so invigorated. And but for me, uh, I was forcing myself to be somebody that I wasn't. It was so, like, designed to be corporate, if you know what I mean by that. Like, so, like, I was wearing a suit, and it was just done in this way that you would expect, like a Tony Robbins seminar, or like a motivational seminar. It was just done in this way that was not me. So even though the content was for me, the dressing of it wasn't. And so it was just so for me, I just I'm redesigning everything that I'm doing so that I can have these sessions with people, but it's going to be completely I don't know, just my style. So these are going to be these are, well, it depends on where we are, but I envision them really taking place outdoors and there's not going to be any suits involved and PowerPoints and microphones and system. It's just going to be very personal, very uh, just very grounded,
Mm-hmm.
based in reality.
Okay, well, Maddie, are you ready to play the proper game?
So what is this game? The proper game?
Yeah, so this game is called Third Time's the Charm, where I'm going to give you a category like three different styles of magic, three different forms of shuffling, stuff like that. And you just go and name three of them.
Uh, I don't necessarily understand, but I'll try to follow along.
Okay. Name three different types of chocolate.
Brown, black, white.
Okay. Name
Okay.
three. Fair enough. Name three types of shuffling when it comes to cards.
Overhand, weaving, slop shuffle,
Yeah.
tape. I don't know.
No worries. If you could pick three places in the world to go visit, where would you go?
Japan, um, Australia, and New Zealand, where they filmed Lord of the Rings.
Yes. All right. Name three foods that you hate.
Oh, I don't know. All the vegetables. Just start naming. Um, oh, beans. I'm not a fan of beans, but like I'm not in love with beans. Like it's a hit and miss for me. Um, uh, a lot of I'm not a fan of insects. People eat insects. I've been invited to eat insects at restaurants, and not a fan. What else don't I like? Just anything that I look at and I'm suspicious of. I don't like. I don't know the names of certain things, but I don't know.
Okay.
Oh, and I don't like mushrooms. I'm not. I'm okay with eating mushrooms, but I find that oftentimes there's way too many mushrooms. Like, you get a slice of pizza with mushrooms, and it, like there's so much mushroom on it, you're like, I can't taste anything other than mushroom. It's just overwhelming.
All right. If you weren't doing magic, what three professions would you want to do?
I would want to, let's see, what would I want to do? I would want to do speaking, which is what I do outside of magic. I would want to do something outdoors, maybe something with animals, like have a farm, something like that. Um, and uh, design video games. I love games, and you know, I would love to design a video game one day.
Okay, cool. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your spice tolerance?
It's probably gone down a lot. I don't know. I don't know how to rate it. I can handle most spices that you can get at like different shops and stuff for wings. Like, if you go to the local place, I can handle most of the spices. I don't enjoy it though. Like I can eat it, but I don't enjoy it. For me, if I just get like regular hot wings, that's like my level of enjoyment where I'm not in pain, I'm not in suffering. For me, it's like it's meant to elevate the experience, not make it a nightmare. It can very easily become a nightmare.
No. Um, Name three colors, but they can't be the ones you'd normally think of.
Turquoise, lavender, um, Gray.
Right. Name 3 styles of transport.
Cars, planes, trains.
Cool. Name 3 talk shows you'd love to be on.
Oprah, um, Dr. Phil, and Jerry Springer.
Oh, all right. And final one, besides doing magic, being funny, show us a secret talent.
Uh, Show you a secret talent. Okay. Are you sure?
Yeah.
Because it's not gonna make for good content, but you'll I can hold my breath for pretty long.
Oh, okay.
Let's try it together if you want.
All right. How long do you think you can hold your breath for?
My longest is 5 minutes and 30 seconds.
Okay. Well,
Well, I mean, that's not what I'm gonna do now, but we can. We'll do it with the audience, and most people give up at around like 40 seconds to a minute. So we'll see how long you can do. Let's do it together.
all right. I've got a stopwatch here. Ready?
Okay? Yeah.
3, 2, 1. All right, we're at 40 seconds. Minute. Uh, hmm. Trying to think of a question I. No worries. All right, so that was about a minute. Minute 2.
Okay, so we'll stop. But I can keep going like I think regularly without, taking deep breaths or anything, I can probably do 3 minutes. If I want to do more than 3 minutes, I have to focus on it because it does get tough. It does get tough, but I'm used to it, and it's amazing when you learn how to control different parts of your body. Uh, and actually, it's very therapeutic for me. I try to go swimming regularly every day, and when I go swimming, there's no sounds around me, so I just really am able to think about magic, to think about different stuff, and really just get into my imagination. And because I'm so much in my mind, my body's just used to breathing and holding my breath regularly. So like I'll just be swimming and my head will be underwater, and like sometimes I'll even forget to breathe because I can hold my breath and I'm just swimming, and it's just like I don't know, I'm in my own world.
So, how did you learn how to hold your breath for 5 minutes?
Uh, when you're a kid, you always, play around with other kids at the pool to see how long you can hold your breath. And I could always hold my breath for like 2 minutes and like 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
Mm.
And then when I saw David Blaine was holding his breath for the world record, I started to just practice and just push it in like 3 minutes and then 4 minutes and then like really I used to practice a lot and get it to 5 minutes, and then the most I got was 5 minutes and 30 seconds. Um, I can probably do it longer, but I would need to train. I think I don't know. A lot of it, I think I might be able to do much longer because I have less body mass. There's less oxygen that my body needs, like in terms of my limbs and stuff. So I could probably do it much longer physically, but it's all in your mind. Really, it's a completely mental thing. But it's very interesting to me. But it's yeah, I don't know. I find it very useful, to be honest. Like sometimes you just don't want to breathe. Like I'll be walking through a parking lot and somebody's just idling their car. Like you have all this gas and smoke in your face and like I don't want to smell this. So you just hold your breath and you walk for 30 seconds, 40 seconds and get away from it.
Fair enough. All right, well, Maddie, again, here is your chance for redemption. Basically, just ask the same questions that I did, but a little bit different. You can ask about my secret talents. You can, yeah, the show's yours.
Okay. What is it about magic that attracts you to it?
How people can take the simplest of things, like a pen, a sponge ball, cards, and make it into something amazing and beautiful. One of the first ever tricks I learned was the double lift, and then one of the latest tricks I've learned is the human blockhead, which is more of a carnival kind of thing. But yeah, and also I don't know why, but I love putting my body to the limit. So yeah,
Oh, you would enjoy holding your breath. That's not easy. Um, do you believe in psychics?
yes.
Do you believe in real magic?
Depends on what you mean by real magic.
Do you believe that there's people who have like a supernatural power, or that there's supernatural occurrences in our world?
Um, Even though I may not look like it, I look at facts before fantasy. So if someone says, "Oh, I saw, I saw my long lost grandfather. He was sitting on his chair reading the newspaper," I would literally either sit there and wait, or I would, I don't know, get this random equipment that I found and like go ghost hunting. So I look at facts before I go, "Oh, okay, that's cool. How is he?"
Right on, man. Do you but you're less skeptical of psychics.
Yeah, like I know what gift they have. It's
Okay.
just there's some people that decide to use it to their advantage. So
Okay. Um, uh, do you think that humans will transcend their bodies and their minds with technology to be able to, live infinitely or have like super memory, super computing, super strength?
um well, right now our technology has skyrocketed for the past, even though I've only been alive for almost 20 years. Um Geez, almost 20 years. Um I think that our technology has advanced immensely, and I'm looking forward to seeing what the next 20 years has to come. That means teleportation, holographic phone calls. We don't know.
It is what technology would scare you if somebody came up with a technology and you're like, I don't want to have anything to do with this.
Probably either people were saying that they like in 20 years there's going to be a pill that you take 3 times a day and that would fill you up a bit, like you wouldn't be eating the normal food, you'd just be swallowing a pill and you would be full.
Sure.
That stuff I'm scared.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. They're working on a lot of stuff. For me, I very much enjoy the human experience. I think we get to experience a wide range of things in our life, and even though a lot of it isn't pleasant, I think I would rather be able to experience it than not experience it.
Exactly. Let's do two more questions. Do you want to see a secret talent or anything like that?
I want to. I saw that you had a tattoo or something. Is that
I've got
right?
a couple.
You got a couple. Which is your least favorite and why?
There's one.
What went wrong with it?
It just, I don't know. I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna get my first tattoo. Back
And now
then,
you regret it. You're like,
I was deeply into music. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get my first tattoo. It's gonna be sick. I'm gonna be like the life of the party, and I'm stuck with it.
you're stuck with it. Okay. What is what is something that you carry on you that most people would not suspect that you carry on your person?
Oh, normally a deck of cards, or I love to have like a pen and sticky notes, just
Okay.
in case. Like I could just be sitting there and just go, yeah, what? No, it's nothing. Or there was one time when I was first learning the human blockhead, and I'd walk around the supermarket with a nail in my nose, and I still do it to this day.
Do you do that like under the mask, or it's like do you have to wear masks in New Zealand, or how does that
Uh,
work? You just secretly have it, or it's openly sticking out, or
it's sticking out, so I'd have my mask on,
and
and
they just see like a protrusion coming from your nose, like
yeah,
the shape of a nail just sticking
just
out.
poking out of my nose.
That's funny, man.
And yeah, so it's always cards, a pen, just something to fiddle with. I don't know why. I just like having something in my hand just to like play around with. Um, yeah, or
Do you have any? Do you have any? That I think this will be the last question. Do you have any nervous ticks? You talked about moving something in your hands. Do you have anything that you do to make you less nervous, but that's like a bad habit and you want to stop? Maybe it's like, pulling at your fingernails or, I don't know, anything like that.
one thing that I do have a habit of doing is I can't sit still. So like right now I'm swaying backwards and forwards on my chair. If I sit still, like I physically can't. So I always have to move. That's one thing I want to change. And also my sleeping pattern hasn't been the best since I moved here, which I'm going to change too.
Okay,
It'll be fun. All right,
interesting.
Maddie, can you please show us another magic trick?
Um, I can, let's see, what can I do? What can I do? Um, yeah, I can do, let's see. La, la, la. Um, I can do something. Do you have your deck of cards on you?
I do have my deck of cards on me.
We'll try something together. We'll try something together.
I'm gonna lower my camera.
Yeah, I'll have to lower my camera too. My floor is a little bit messy. Well, not a little bit messy, it's a complete mess. uh, let's see if you can see this. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Um, deal out 10 cards. Make sure that you have 10. And make sure that you have 10. 2.
Yeah.
And now turn the cards face up and look through them and find a card that you don't like. Find a card that you don't like. And in this card that you don't like, I want you to put all your negative energy into it. So find a card that you don't like, put all your negative energy into it. Maybe you had a bad morning, a bad day, maybe even a bad week. Put all that negative energy into it and get rid of that card. We don't need it anymore. Just like we don't need any of the negative energy in our life or, at home, in our whatever.
So
Now,
take it out of the packaging.
yeah, and get rid of it. You don't need it.
Yes.
Now look again and now find a card that you like. You might have a favorite card, maybe it's not in here, it doesn't matter. Find a card that you like in the pile of 9 cards that you have and separate it from the rest. Separate it from the rest. For me, I'll use the Queen of Hearts. Now take the remaining cards and turn them face down and take the card that you like and hold it up. This is going to become your lucky card. In this card, we're going to put all your positive emotions, your energy, and if this works, and I don't know if it will, something very interesting will happen to this card and to your life. Put this card face down on top of the pile. Now, spread the pile. Take any card you want from the middle of the pile, pull it out, and put it on top of the pile.
Yep.
Now reach in again, take any card you want from the middle of the pile, maybe the 4th or the 5th, pull it out and move it to the bottom of the pile. And now square up the pile and pick up the pile in your hands. And now we're going to do something together, and what we're going to be doing is we're going to be dealing out 1 card per letter of your name. So I'll do it with my name first, down onto the table. So I'll do it with mine, M-A-H-D-I, Maddie. And I have a few cards left. Do it with your name now, spelling your name 1 card down for every letter, out loud.
M-A-R-T-I-N.
And you have a few cards left in your hand? The cards that you have left in your hand, give them a quick mix in your hand, a little shuffle. Once you're happy with that, drop them on top of the pile on the table. Now pick up the pile. We're going to spell something that I hope happens today, and not only today, but every single day of our lives. And what I hope that happens is that we experience wonder. So together, we're going to spell wonder. W-O-N-D-E-R, wonder. And again, we have a few cards left in our hands. Drop them on top of the pile on the table. Now pick up the pile. And now we should have different piles. We have different names, different everything. Now to make it even more different, start dealing from the top to the table. You can deal 1 card, 2 cards, in a pile, 3, 4. You can deal as many or as few as you'd like. Stop dealing whenever you want. You can even deal until you have no cards left in your hand. Stop whenever you'd like.
Yeah.
And if you have cards left in your hand, those cards left in your hand, give them a little bit of a shuffle and then drop them on top of the pile on the table. Fair? Square up the pile. Now we should have a completely different position. But wait, we're not done. Spread the cards face down on the table. Now look in the middle of the pile. And I want you to decide whether you're going to pull out the 4th or the 5th. Make that decision now and pull that card out of the middle of the pile and move it to the bottom of the pile.
So 4th or 5th from the middle.
Yes.
Yeah. And bottom or top?
On the bottom, on the bottom.
Right.
And now, again, look at the middle of the pile. Choose whether you want to take the new 4th or 5th card from the middle, pull it out, and this time move it to the top of the pile. And now square up the pile. We should have completely different situations, completely different everything. We're going to try this. Pick up the top card and get rid of it. We don't need it anymore. Pick up the next top 3 cards. Next top 3 cards. and get rid of them. We don't need them anymore. Now pick up the rest of the cards in your hand. And now what you're going to do is take the top card and move it to the bottom of the pile. Take the next top card and get rid of it. You don't need it. Take the top card, move it to the bottom of the pile. Take the next top card, get rid of it. Take the top card, move it to the bottom of the pile. Take the new top card, get rid of it. Take the top card, move it to the bottom of the pile. Take the new top card and get rid of it. Now remember, at the beginning, we chose different cards. We dealt out our names. Our names are different. We dealt out some words. Then we started dealing. We stopped. We shuffled. We took cards from the middle, from the top, to moved it to the top and the bottom. Every single one of our choices, even though some of them were the same, some of them were completely unique. We should have a completely different mix. But if this works, and I don't know if this works, the card that you chose to be your good luck card, to have your positive energy, should be exactly in your hands. Mine was the Queen of Hearts, and yours was exactly the Joker.
Wow. Okay.
Uh,
Woo.
that's a trick from one of my good friends in magic, Javier Natera. Um, he he showed me that version of a trick, and I loved it, and so much fun.
Okay.
And I use that in my virtual show. I try to, we're talking about material and how to, put stuff together. I always try to look at things and how they can follow other plots without, going into the deck. And so when I do the first card trick with you with the red and the black cards, we start out with 5 red, 5 black. You have 10 cards, right? After we do that trick, I tell everybody, put the cards in your pocket, right? We continue, I do some more magic for them. Then I tell them later on in the show, take the cards out of your pocket. Now everybody look through the cards, take out, and we start from that position with the 10 cards. Take out a card that you don't like, now choose a card that you like, and we go from that 10 card packet to this 10 card trick.
Oh, gosh. I'm a big magic nerd, so I absolutely love magic. So what's next for you? Maddie, I'm going to give you the floor. Promote yourself, Instagram, TikTok, let the people know what's happening.
You know, um, I'm right now. I literally am just working on my magic. I want to really put together a new show that's going to be fun for me to perform. That's going to have magic that I'm excited to do. So right now I'm just putting it all together and creating different versions of the show because oftentimes you need to perform different lengths of shows, or sometimes you have to perform 2 different sets in one location. So right now I'm just figuring out how to split up all the material. So, whether I need to do, a 15-minute act and then I need to do a 45-minute show, or I need to do, a 2-hour show with an intermission, figuring out how to put all that material together so I'm not repeating anything. Um, because it is a problem of scheduling things. I had a situation once where I had performed, I thought it was going to be a close-up set for a few people, and so I performed, I performed one of my close-up sets, and then I was doing a show that evening, and they came to the show, and I was doing a lot of the same material. I was like, no, I don't want to show them the same tricks. I want to, so you constantly have to be thinking of this stuff because you will be in a situation where you're booked for different things, but for whatever reason, they have some crossover in the audience. So even if it's not the completely same audience, you'll have some of the same audience members. So you need to have different stuff. So for me, I'm just, going through that material, figuring everything out so that I can perform those different sets or shows or, mini shows and not have repetition.
Okay. So besides doing card magic, what other styles of magic can you do? Can you do mentalism, hypnosis?
Yeah, I I am doing a lot of more mentalism in my show now, uh, which is very interesting. I'm I'm both a very big fan of mentalism and I don't really like it at the same time. I think there's a lot of like really weird plots in mentalism. I guess you have weird plots and everything. I'm just really attracted to basic mentalism. I guess I have a short attention span, and when somebody's just talking so much and they take, 10 minutes to get to the effect, and then I've been to shows where, the guy's talking for 10 minutes, and then when he finally shows you like the number that matches to the serial bill, you have no idea what happened. You're like, oh, okay, cool, it's the same thing. Like I kind of blanked out there at, minute 5 or 6. I don't remember how you got to this number. So I'm trying to I want to keep stuff very simple, very direct. Um, I don't like procedural magic. The magic that we did is the most procedural magic that I would do, and I'm only doing that because of the Zoom and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But in real life, my magic is a lot more simple. So simple.
Mhm. So do you think there's a chance of doing a mentalism trick right now?
I will save that for my shows because I think I think it's best experience in that format. Um, Anything that I would do right now would not be, it'd be 1% of what I would do in the show. So there's no point, I think, in weakening magic. I think one of the most important things you can learn in magic is when to say no to a request to do magic. And you're not saying no because you don't want to show the person magic. You just want it to be the best experience for them possible. So you want to, it's like if you met a chef and you said like, oh, hey man, would you mind hopping in my kitchen and making a quick recipe? And like he wouldn't have his ingredients ready, he wouldn't have his cooking utensils ready. Yeah, he could make something. He knows a lot of recipes, he could make something, but you would never be the same experience as if you went to his restaurant and you were able to sit down and he could spend his day shopping for the cooking materials that he wanted, and then cooking everything the way that he wants, and then serving it to you. It's a completely different experience, right?
Okay, well, Maddie, is there anyone that you would like to see on Mic Time with Marty?
I would like to see I would like to see um let's see. Let me think of a magician. Uh, I would love to see David Copperfield.
Ah,
Can you bring David Copperfield on?
I mean, I could be interviewing Ryan Hayashi, so
That's not the same.
maybe, I don't know. Maybe
I
someone
want
that's a
David,
little bit easier.
um, Homer Leeweg or Chris Kenner, somebody who works with David Copperfield. The reason I say David Copperfield is because he is the most successful magician in our lifetime. And I think anybody who works with David Copperfield really just has their pulse on what people want in a magic show. You have to think David Copperfield is just so good at what he does. I mean, I hope one day you can go to the US and see his show. He really does have a one of a kind show, and there will never be a show ever again like it in the history of magic. It's really like, and I'm not even saying this, to blow David Copperfield up or anything. It really is spectacular, and you know that once David Copperfield is done, like once he retires, whatever, uh, there won't be anything like that anymore. Um, I don't know, David Copperfield, like just everything. He's done so much of material, and so much of it has been good. It is very rare in magic. It's very rare. Often you find the more material somebody does throughout the year, the more the quality goes down. Like if you see a magic special, it'll be really good. It can be really good if it's 1 hour, but then if they make a magic show and it's like 25 episodes, there's a lot of filler. There's a lot of kind of garbage in some of those longer series.
Hey, well, Maddie, do you have an Instagram or anything that you want to shout out?
Everyone, I don't know. Everyone can just follow me online. I haven't been very active recently, but I plan to change that. I think for me, I'm just really trying to sit down and figure out my vision for what I can do on the internet. So I started making like these magic videos like a year ago of me doing like sleight of hand and some stuff, and I like that. But I want to see what I can do on this medium, and also I want to do. I would love to have some sort of thing where, and it's one of the difficulties about being a magician. I want to have some sort of a vlog type experience where people can follow me on my journeys and stuff, but without it being, removing all the mystery of a magician. I think like the worst thing that you can do as a magician is just seem to be like a totally normal person who does magic tricks, unless it's your character. But for me, it's not in the direction that I want to go. So I want to figure out like how I can show, how I can share my life without, while keeping mystery.
Yeah. Okay, so people can find you at Mahdi Gilbert.
They just search Maddie the Magician, they'll find me. I mean,
Perfect. All right. Well, Maddie, thank you so much for taking your time. What are you doing for the rest of the day?
oh man, I am going to hopefully go swimming and just work on some magic and do some reading. I'm not too sure. Nothing too crazy. Sort of a rest day for me.
Yeah, fair enough. All right. Well, again, Maddie, thank you so much for taking your time. I will make sure to send you the link so you can brag to everyone that you're on mic time with Marty. Not that it means much right now, but who knows? And who knows? Maybe when you become big, rich, and famous, we could do this again sometime.
Yeah, or hopefully when I come to New Zealand, I would love to come. I don't know when. I don't have anything planned, but it would be really it would be really fun, honestly.
Yeah, if you're ever in my neck of the woods, let me know, and I'll do the same for you.
I will do that. I'll do that.
All right. Thanks a lot, Maddie.
Have a good day.
You as well.